My name is Moonlight and I live in Long Beach at a new way of life, and I'm currently trying to get acclimated to being free and getting my life back together. Growing up, I went to a very small school in Harbor City called Normont Terrace, and we had an after-school program that was learning gymnastics, starting out with tumbling and cartwheels and some lighter things. And I liked school because I could do the gymnastics afterwards. And then I went on to high school, and I had planned to take gymnastics there. And that year, there was no gymnastics. And it kind of took away my drive to want to continue on with school. The abuse started when I was probably like 5 or 7, and it continued on till I was 13. And it was a very harsh point in my life. And my mother walked in one day and caught him on top of me. And she stepped back out the door and closed it. And I was so traumatized because when she walked in, I felt like help has arrived. But she left me there. And I felt unprotected. I felt unloved. And at that point is when I started leaving home and hanging out with a different crew in the neighborhood, looking for love and acceptance from those people. And at the time, I had no idea that the people that I was looking to this love and acceptance from were just as broken, if not more broken, than I was. They watched over me at night, and they protected me. And so that became my family. My first experience of incarceration, I was like 20, and my mom threw me out, and I had my son, and I went to stay in a motel in Wilmington. And my mom really wanted my son. He was the first boy born in our family. And so my mom knew that my drug life wasn't gonna stop. And a girl came over and wanted me to go get her some drugs. And I said, this is the last time. And what ended up happening was my mom called the police and said I was selling drugs out of the room. And the undercovers came and they raided the house, and while I was gone, they were inside the house arresting my friend. My son was right across the hall with the babysitter. Long story short, my mom set that up so that I would go to jail so that she could get custody of my son. That was in 1985. I got a 2-year term. And when I got out, I thought, okay, I'm gonna go back home. My mom has my son. I knocked on the door. She handed me $20 and said, I'll see you later. Nowhere to go. I ended up right back where I started. Back in the projects, selling drugs to try to survive. Because to me, it was the fastest, easiest way to put money in my pocket. And within 2 months, I was going right back to prison. I met my husband when I got out of my second violation. And he lived in Palos Verdes, very nice, very expensive, wealthy area. But he was a drug addict as well. We met because he came to buy drugs. And we fell in love. We lived with his father up in Palos Verdes, and then we moved and we got our own place. He became a truck driver. And I started noticing he was staying out on the road for longer periods of time. And one day he got up and he gave us all a kiss and a hug and said, I'll see you later. Okay. 2 weeks go by, no call, he hasn't come home. And I start worrying, I start looking for him. Can't find him. And my lights got cut out. And now it's like a month. And I'm not accustomed to asking for help, but I felt the one person that I could ask for help was my sister. So I called her and asked her if she could help me with the money and that I would give it back to her, that I was waiting for my check. And her reply was, "You have the kids in the house with no electricity? I'll help you." "Sure, I'll help you." She called Department of Children's Services and had my kids taken. So now my husband's gone, don't know where he's at. They come and they take my kids. A week later, my car gets stolen, and I'm like, what's next? I was beyond devastation. I felt so broken. I felt unworthy. I felt unloved. I felt abandoned, betrayed. And I just wanted to numb it. I felt like I was just a zombie walking around in a world that I didn't belong in.